Hey, it's Chris Barnes from 6 Feet Under, original vocalist of Cannibal Corpse, and you're watching Metal Debates Podcast. Keep it brutal.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Metal Debates Podcast. This is officially the second time I've done this. So again, I'm just going to do an impromptu one. I'm going to wait till we get, some more followers until we start doing more actual debating. What's the point without any followers of debating anything if there's no one to debate stuff? So last week we did Chris Barnes, Cannibal Corpse, 6 Feet Under. That went over really well. And I got a lot of great feedback, actually. And that was another impromptu one that just kind of did. So I'm just like, what am I going to do like this week? So you know what? I'm just going to kind of do weekly or whenever I feel like it, just a new episode based on something either that interests me or you guys send me saying that you're interested in, and I'll just kind of go through it and whatever. So again, this is not scripted. There's nothing at all being paid by anybody or whatever, just for fun. So hopefully you enjoy. That being said, this episode I'm going to do on Max Cavalera. Obviously, just saying that name, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, or who I'm talking about, I should say. Last week was Chris Barnes, which is obviously more death metal, brutal death metal, crazy as shit. This week, Max Cavalera, which I truly believe without Max Cavalera, there wouldn't even probably be a Chris Barnes, Cannibal Corpse. I could be wrong, but you talk about an icon, a legend, an innovator, Max Cavalera. Jesus. I don't even know if I mentioned this last week. I remember playing in bands way back in 1991 or something, whatever it was, when I was like 15. And you had to look for bands or band members to play in your band. There was a magazine, at least in Southern California where I'm at. Maybe it was nationwide. I have no idea. But it was called The Recycler. And they had a classified ad section for, people looking for band members, or if you're in you're a musician, you could actually say, hey, I'm looking for a band, whatever. And no joke, almost every single ad at the time. We'll get into the actual discography and everything that Max has done shortly, but just jumping ahead, this is back about the Arise era, and every single one of the metal bands on there said, we're looking for somebody that sounds like Max Cavalera. And it's like, yeah, good luck on that one. The dude was honestly my top 3 or 4 at least of all time, if not number 1, honestly. So I'm going to kind of go through Max Cavalera's discography, get into obviously Sepultura, Soulfly, Kill or Be Killed, the new Go Ahead and Die, whatever. He's done so many projects that it's like impossible to name them all. So I'll just kind of start with Sepultura. So, oh man, the first time I ever heard Sepultura, I was junior in high school, maybe. I don't know. Whenever it came out, I don't know. Back then, obviously, I was in high school. Somebody gave me a recorded tape of it. I still remember the way it looked. It was just a white cassette tape, and it said, actually, everybody then called it, at least in my circle of friends, was Sepultura. That's what we called it. They didn't see that there was a U or whatever in Sepultura. It was Sepultura. So all of us just like, dude, you got to check out this band Sepultura. They're badass. And that was a Beneath the Remains album. And so we lived and died by that record, and then went back and got Schizophrenia, obviously Morbid Visions, that record. And I don't even know what to say. I'm kind of speechless because that shit just changed literally music for me, at least, and most people. So back then, yeah, the first one I got introduced to was Beneath the Remains, which was mind blowing. Schizophrenia was just brutal too. And I loved Morbid Visions too. Bestial Devastation. I guess it was a split, whatever. That was so raw and just like my almost introduction to black metal, actually. A lot of people debate me on that. They're like, nah, I don't really know it's black metal, but yeah, it's not like straight up black metal, but to me, it just had that vibe. It was so raw, whatever. So I was into Beneath the Remains for the most part, like as my like Utopia, my favorite record I've ever heard my entire life. This is coming off of bands like Nuclear Assault and SOD and, you know, all those thrash bands, hardcore bands. This just like was like, I don't know, just took cake. And then I remember Arise came out. We all lined up literally at the record store the day it came out and bought it. And it was just like, oh, yes. So Arise was just, I can't even tell you. I actually bought that one. Sorry, Gloria and Max. I did not buy Beneath the Remains back then because I had a copy on tape. But I'll never forget buying the actual tape of Arise. And that thing did not, I swear to Christ, that did not leave my car cassette deck for, I'm not kidding, one or at least 2 years. So that album was a masterpiece, still is a masterpiece. So is Beneath the Remains. I mean, Jesus. So that was kind of my introduction to Max and Sepultura. A quick little story on that time frame. I got to see them live probably 3 times during the Arise tour. There was a time when I saw them, I don't know the order, but there was a time where they actually opened for Ozzy, and Rob Halford was on vocals, and this was in Costa Mesa, California. And I want to say that was the first time I saw them. And so they opened up before, believe it or not, it was Black Sabbath with Dio, ended up being Rob Halford, and then Ozzy just solo the No More Tours tour. Yeah, right. But it was so insane. Nobody even cared who Sepultura was at that point. No one heard of them, but I was just sitting there. I'll never forget, like right in front of the stage, wearing an Obituary t-shirt and just headbanging like a total dumbass, like going crazy at 16 years old or whatever I was at that point. But I'll never forget that show. And then they did, when else did I see him on that tour? They did a New Titans on the Block. And that was, dude, that was crazy. That one, that was Sick of It All was on there. Napalm Death, I want to say, and Agnostic Front, and then Sepultura, and that was just off the charts. And I saw him one other time, but I don't remember the actual time, but that was that. And then obviously after that, they went into Chaos AD. To be completely honest, when Chaos AD came out, I didn't like it at all. I hated it. Actually fucking hated it. Sorry, Gloria and Max. I don't know. I guess I was expecting more death metal ish vibe, but they kind of went more into a, I don't know, hardcore groove, like that kind of vibe. So at that point in time, I was still heavily into death metal, because after Arise, death metal just took over my life. And so I was still a diehard, obviously, Sepultura fan, and Arise was my Utopia, my favorite record of all time for sure back then. So it progressed. That kind of got me into death metal. And so I was thinking when Chaos AD was going to come out, it was going to be just like, all right, we're going to get heavier, crazier. Max was going to sound crazier. I don't know. Now to this day, I love that record, but back then, I don't even know. It was a tape. There's no email. There's no internet. There's none of that. And I'm not going to lie to you. I actually was so pissed off when I heard that record that I sent a fax in my parents. My dad had a fax machine. And I said, like, fuck this. This sucks. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't even remember what I said, but I'll never forget sending that fax. So, Gloria, maybe you saw that. And I don't know. You probably didn't. You probably got a million faxes. But after about, I don't know, 6 months, I was like, oh, wait a minute. This record rules. And I guess it's one of those things in life where you have to kind of evolve and be like, all right, it's different, but it's still badass. So it took me about 6 months, like I said, to really appreciate that record. And it's still one of my top records of all time too. So I credit that record for actually kind of changing my mind on like certain genres of music. I was so pigeonholed into just the most extreme death metal ever. And that record kind of like mixed it up, and it was more like, nah, not sure, but no, it changed me. So then we go to Roots. Well, actually before Roots, I want to say we did Nail Bomb, which, dude, that record is just, it's insane. That record rules. It's still I keep saying it's one of my favorite records. Like, how many favorite records can you have? But Nail Bomb was sick. So I want to say, and again, I'm not reading off anything right now. I'm just going off the top of my head. But I want to say Nail Bomb came out before Roots and right after Chaos AD. It kind of had that Chaos AD kind of sound to it. But just totally, it had Alex Newport from Fudge Tunnel, which is another sick band. Like, they're true grunge, by the way, in my opinion. Like, fuck Nirvana and all those lame so-called grunge bands. I love Alice in Chains and bands like that, but fuck Nirvana. I still hate them. I don't care. People can say they love them and they change music, which they probably did, and they did, I guess. But I thought Fudge Tunnel was the new Nirvana. Like, that's grunge to me. Just sludgy and just, I don't know, whatever. That's a whole nother topic. So yeah, bring on all the hate emails and whatever. I don't care. I fucking hate Nirvana. I still do. But yeah, so then we go to Roots, and man, that one took me even longer to get into. That was a whole nother level of like the groove, that vibe. The song Roots itself, I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, yeah, Roots, bloody Roots. But it took me a long time to get into that record. I still can say it's probably my least favorite Max Sepultura record. But even that being said, I love that record still to this day. I still listen to it all the time. And to say it's my least favorite record doesn't mean I don't like it. It just goes to show you how good the other records were before it. I guess it was just a style of music at that time. I was so over like the kind of change in like new metal kind of started taking over. And I was like resisting that shit so much that I felt like Roots was kind of, even though it was before that, I don't know. Whatever. It's still a great record, and it's an innovative record for sure. And tons of bands, if they want to admit it or not, completely copied them from that record. And to be honest, it pretty much spawned a whole new genre of metal. And if you think about it, back then, metal was hated. Like, nobody liked metal. And so that album kind of spawned off, and that was a Ross Robinson band. And then he did the Korn record, and after that, it was just like new metal was this new thing. So I respect them for doing what they want. We did what they wanted to do at that time, and, you know, did a kind of a different sounding record, and they had to keep evolving or they were going to die out. So that's a reality of it. So as much as I really listen to that, probably to this day, to the least, I respect it pretty much the most. So, God, then what do we do? After Roots is obviously when Max bailed. It was done. I mean, Sepultura was dead. Like, fuck anybody that thinks the new after Max left is still Sepultura. I get Igor stayed, did some records. I'm not going to say that I hate all their music. I've never really listened to it, to be honest. I just don't really care to. The songs that I have heard, it doesn't do much for me. I know a lot of people are going to talk shit on that even, you know, whatever. I don't care. Again, this is a debate podcast. So if you guys have your opinion, I know what he's done. Trust me. I know post-Max Sepultura. I've heard every record. I know everything about it. I don't like Derek Green's vocals. Like, fuck that. I don't like another drummer coming in playing Igor's parts. The whole thing, I'm not into it. So I'm not going to spend any time talking about that. I'm not saying that if you like that, you're a bad person or, you know, whatever. But that's just my opinion. I can't even, I cringe. I literally cringe. No disrespect to you, Derek, if you're watching this. It's not personal, whatever. You were hired to do a job and you weren't supposed to sound like Max. But dude, come on, man. Like when you say Roots, bloody Roots, and you're like, you literally pronounce it like lure, lordy, lure. It's like, what the fuck? No, I'm not going to listen to that band. So I don't care how good the musicianship is, who they have in the band. That band's dead to me. And that's my opinion. And I'm not going to change on that. I know Andreas is you know, from what I've never met him, but everybody says he's a great dude. And I'm sure he is. I'm sure all those guys are great guys, but we're just talking music here. So it's not a personal thing. It's just music. The first Soulfly record comes out and man, I got a cassette tape and the first song was Eye for an Eye. And the backside, I want to say, was Bleed, and that had Fred Durst on it. So it was like, oh, God damn. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is where we're going? Even though I secretly liked that. And I just, you weren't allowed to say you liked Fred Durst or Limp Bizkit at that point if you're a metalhead. It was like, no, but I love that song still, Bleed. And then, of course, Eye for an Eye. I didn't like it that much. It was okay, but now I love that song. It just took a minute to like kind of grow on me. But when that record came out, the first Soulfly record, it was like another Ross Robinson production, which side story, I spent a good year at Ross's house before recording another band that I'll get into maybe one day, called The Killer and the Star, which actually I probably won't get into because it's totally not metal at all. And there's no reason to, but it's with my friend Scooter from Cold. I have 5 tattoos on my body. Only reason I have that little because I'm such a pussy that it fucking hurts. So I have a Cold. If you guys know the band Cold, that's this. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Another one I have is this one. Let's see. This probably looks like crap. Can you see that? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, Soulfly. So the cool thing when I met Ross Robinson, I'm like, dude, 2 of the bands on the only 2. Well, actually, I have a Sick of It All tattoo. That's my first tattoo I ever got. So Sick of It All, Soulfly, and Cold. Ross Robinson did 2 of those. And so I'm like, when I met him and we were hanging out, I'm like, yeah, 2 of my tattoos on my entire body are from records you produced. So that was kind of a cool thing, you know? So that I really, really had a great time spending time at Ross's place. And he's a different dude, man. And I don't say that in a bad way at all. I love that guy. Anyone that's ever been produced by him has met him. He's got this certain vibe to him, and that's what, he gets a lot out of vocalists, especially, well, and musicians, obviously, in general, because he just doesn't give a fuck. He just does his thing, and just he's a different dude, and that's a great thing, in my opinion. Anyways, so back to where I was at, which I don't even remember. You know me, I ramble. But we were up to Soulfly, and I remember seeing Soulfly for the first time. They actually opened up for Iron Maiden when Bruce Dickinson first came back to Iron Maiden. So, and I don't know if it was the first show. I want to say maybe it was in LA at the Greek Theater. Nobody was even in the stands. I mean, yeah, maybe like a quarter full or whatever, but Soulfly came out and just fucking crushed it. And because I didn't really, I liked Soulfly at that point, but I really, wasn't like, totally into it. But when I saw them live, I was like, dude, like they sounded so sick, and they were so heavy, and just, it was a different style than with Sepultura. But instantly I was just like, I got it. Like when I was watching them, I'm like, okay, I get it. And the tribal vibes and all of that, I was like, yeah, like cool. Like this is badass. So I ended up loving that record, the first Soulfly record. Like, holy shit. To this day, again, you saw the tattoo on my leg. It's one of my favorite records of all time. And even Ross, when I told Ross, I'm like, dude, I like that better than Roots, like Sepultura Roots. He looked at me almost like I was crazy. So that was kind of a cool story again. Then after that, obviously Max got into so many different things. He did Primitive, which, I get it. A lot of people didn't like that record. It was kind of the most new metal out of the Sepultura catalog, or Soulfly catalog. But I still like the record. I love it. Like they're so like back to the Primitive, Jump the Fuck Up was kind of lame, and still I think it's kind of cheesy. But I do like the music. It's just kind of the whole jump the fuck up thing and jump up and down. Like at that point, at least now I appreciate it. But back then I was like, eh. But then you had I forget the name of the song. I could think of it if I really think about it, but it was the one with Tom Araya. He sang on that record, and there was I think, was that the one with, I don't remember, the one with Sean Lennon. Maybe that was on the one after that. I don't know. But if you listen to Primitive all the way through, it's a great record. So, fuck people that talk shit on it. It's your opinion, whatever. And then Prophecy, I want to say, was next. That album just was like, okay, yeah, we're back to kind of like the heavier shit. It still kind of had the new metal-ish riffs and all that kind of stuff. But this is the prophecy. Love that shit. I still love that record. They went on and did so many great records, Soulfly. I don't think there's any Soulfly record. And they're another band that there's so many dumb motherfuckers out there that talk shit on them. Like, oh, new Max, or Max lost his shit. He doesn't know how to play guitar. Shut the fuck up. Like, honestly. Just because you change your style of music or you're into different influences doesn't mean that you suck. It just means you're kind of like evolving with the times and staying relevant. So say what you want. Max is a metalhead to death. The guy doesn't give a fuck about what anyone thinks. Of course, he wants to keep you guys happy, me happy, like any fans, but no. I can't tell you how much I idolize that dude. Then let's see. So I remember he did a song with Deftones, that Head Up song on Around the Fur, which was just badass. And obviously that influenced him going forward a little bit. But without going into every single Soulfly record, I remember like, oh God, what was that record? Dark Ages. Just like, oh yes. That was like dark, obviously, well, Dark Ages, but apparently that's when he was going through all the stuff with Gloria's son, who passed away, his stepson, Max's stepson. And that was a dark time. And from what I understand, and that album was just like a natural, like aggressive piece of work. I mean, it's unfortunate, obviously, that happened, and I can't even imagine that happening to anybody. And my thoughts will always be with them on that. But I guess the only thing you could say that came out of it was a brutal fucking badass album. You know, sometimes it takes things like that to kind of, I don't know, get you pissed up. Well, fuck, I don't even want to touch on that because I don't know what it's like. And I hope I never have to know what it's like to lose a child. Like, that's the worst thing ever. But fucking amazing record. That album was like, Soulfly was like fucking on fire. Then we go on to, I don't know at what point Cavalera Conspiracy comes out, but that Inflicted record was just like, dude, yes. Like Igor, that's when Max and Igor got back together. That album shreds. That first Inflicted just rules. I don't know. I'm going to keep saying it rules. Like, there's nothing Max has done, in my opinion, that sucks. You know, yeah, there's some songs. Maybe the Omen record was probably my least favorite. I listened to it the least. That doesn't mean it sucks. It just was, I don't know, whatever. But Conquer, like, oh shit, there's so many badass ones. That's my opinion on Soulfly. So I guess if anything comes out of this podcast or show or whatever you want to call it, my opinion, Soulfly rules. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Is it Sepultura? No, definitely not. Totally different style. But the fact that Max just kept doing what he wanted to do, and, you know, I'm sure it hurt that he wasn't in Sepultura anymore. I'm not going to get into all the drama about their manager Gloria and the rest of the band, Sepultura, the breakup. Like, that's their shit. Like, I don't give a fuck, really. I really don't give a fuck. It's like, I just like the music. So yeah, I don't like what Sepultura turned into after Max left. Just don't like the music. So I'm not going to listen to it, but I did like everything Max was doing with Sepultura or Soulfly. And the live shows are sick. That being said, the last Soulfly record that came out, Rituals, like, oh, fuck me. Like, if you're even one of those douchebags that say, like, Max, I shouldn't probably call you guys a douchebag that don't agree with me. That's not fair. But if you're one of those people that thinks that Max is like all new metal or whatever lame bullshit you want to come up with, just listen to Ritual. Shut the fuck up with your comments. Go get the record, listen to it. Tell me that Ritual is not fucking brutal. That album is absolutely brutal. And I don't even want to get into like the last, oh my God, Cavalera Conspiracy. I want to say it was called Psychosis. I apologize if I have it wrong. Dude, that is a brutal record. So anyone talking shit on that, again, you're just not listening to it, period. So I don't know why people have taken sides. Like, I don't care. Like, if the new Sepultura stuff was good and I actually enjoyed it, I would still listen to it. But why do you need to pick sides? Like, why, really? It's like, you don't have to be like, oh, well, Max is doing this and Derek does this. And fuck, who cares? Like, if you like it, you like it. I mean, I do get the emotional attachment like I do with Max. Like, you know, his voice was Sepultura to me, and Igor too. Like, his drumming was just fucking sick. But I don't know. I try to stay away from that, even though, yeah, I guess I am a little bit biased. I will always support Max for whatever reason. And it's not just because he was Sepultura. It's just he's putting out quality shit. I haven't even gotten into, which, again, you could turn this off if you're bored right now. I'm just rambling on about Max Cavalera right now. So thanks for listening, by the way. It's Metal Debates Podcast. I'm Toby McDonald. I probably didn't even say that at the beginning of this, but whatever. You don't really care who I am. I just want to say, like, Kill or Be Killed. Holy shit. Like, if you listen to those two records, like, and tell me that those records aren't amazing, you're an idiot. Seriously. I'm stopping myself. I shouldn't call anyone an idiot. That's dumb. Yeah. But yeah, you're kind of an idiot if you think those records suck. I get it if it's not your vibe, you're not like into that style of music, but holy Christ, like Max is playing guitar on that, and people are like, oh, Max doesn't know how to play guitar anymore. It's like, really? Oh, because live he doesn't really like play as much. He lets Rizzo take over. No, he can still play guitar. Go watch that Max track shit on Facebook and tell me he can't play guitar. So fuck yourselves. There I go again, being an asshole. But you know what? Kill or Be Killed's insane. I love those records. And now he's got that Go Ahead and Die. And that's with one of his kids. He's got so many kids. I don't remember which one. I think it's Little Igor, maybe. I'm not positive. But that is just raw. It's almost got like a hardcore kind of like Discharge. I don't know the right. It's kind of like a mix of Discharge and like some black metal. It's like, you know what? Like, good on Max for not giving a shit. It's like not everything has to be so polished. That album rips. If you guys haven't heard that new Go Ahead and Die record, get it. Especially if you're into like more old school Max stuff and you're not in one of these douchebags that are like, oh, the production is not like perfect. And it's like, that's a whole nother issue. One quick story before I kind of wrap this up about Max and his career and my admiration. One cool story I have is back in 1998, Soulfly toured with my band Cold, which I worked with for 15 years. And I know I'm going to get this wrong. I don't remember which kid it was because they always took their kids out on tour with them. And in Europe, Cold opened for Soulfly. And I want to say, oh man, I don't even want to say actually. I don't remember which kid it was, but he was probably 4 or 5 years old. I don't know if it was Zion or I don't remember which one. I think Richie was older than that. But he'd come on the Cold tour bus and whatever from, and the guys in Cold would pretty much babysit the kids sometimes. But where I came in is we had a company party I did a record label with Scooter from Cold. And I remember going in his refrigerator at his house and there's a bottle of Cristal in the refrigerator. And I'm like, dude, what's this? Like, he goes, oh, Gloria gave me that during the 1998 tour with, Soulfly. And he didn't even drink champagne, but he had that thing still sitting in the fridge. And this is 10 years later ish. Yeah. 10 years later, probably even more actually. So it's like, that was so cool. So cool. And I was like, man, like, wow. So I don't know. That was another cool story. Other than that, I just want to say, I mean, I could go on with all the projects that Max has done over the years, which is ridiculous. Like, he collaborated with so many people on all of his records, like David Vincent and obviously Chino, Fred Durst, the guys from Fear Factory. He did the Probot record with Dave Grohl. My goodness, there's so many. The guy from Immolation, forget his name actually. I'm sorry, it's not on the top of my head. I'm doing this impromptu style. That song fucking rules. In fact, you know what? I don't even know how long we've been doing this. I have literally no idea. I've been doing these reaction videos, and then that just reminded me of that song with Immolation Singer. What is it called? I'm gonna look at my Under Rapture. That song on the new record, Ritual, just fucking kicks ass. So if you guys still want to keep watching this, I'm gonna do a reaction. Let's just do it impromptu style. I haven't heard this in a long time. I'm gonna look it up really quick, see if I can even get it. I'm sure it's on here. Hopefully I don't get blocked or whatever that they do, if you're not allowed to play a song. But let's see what we got here. Yeah, Under Rapture, we got a lyric video. So let's go ahead, and I'll just go ahead and play this and just kind of groove along to it, and you guys can listen along. Here it is. It says Under Rapture. Oh God, I'm looking this up now. And Ice-T he worked with, the Body Count record. I forgot about that. Sean Lennon, yeah, I already Sun Song that I believe was on Primitive. Mike Patton, Alex Newport, obviously that guy's a badass, by the way. Cattle Decapitation, Biohazard, Korn, like Prong, okay. Napalm Death, Mitch Harris. Jesus, like, oh God, that song with Clutch. Jeez, that I forget the name of the song. It was like Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla. Man, badass. Anyways, this is Ross Dolan, that's his name, from Immolation, sang on this song. So if you guys want to hear this song, cool. It's called Under Rapture, and this is featuring Ross Dolan of Immolation. And I'm just going to literally cue it up here, play it. If it gets blocked, I hope it doesn't. Obviously, I'm not trying to make money on any of this crap. It's just something fun to do. So I'm going to play it, and you guys can listen along with me and tell me what you think. If anything, hopefully some of you jerk-offs that think Soulfly is like some new metal band, this might change your mind. And I'm sorry to call you jerk off. That's just how I talk. I love you all, whatever. Here goes. This is called Under Rapture from Soulfly.
Storms that will return. Cut from life, face the light. Cut from life, face the light. Born to suffer, buried under God's hammer, under rapture. Cut from life.
Rizzo's a badass motherfucker, by the way.
Descended from the heavens, ever defiant, I pay your eyes. Abomination of desolation. No one lives until it's time. From life, face the light. Cut from life, face the light. Born to suffer, buried under God's hammer, under rapture. Cut from life.
Circle pit.
It is a darkness of persons, the river that the human nature.
circle pit. There's a shred. Love this riff.
I see where the demons dwell, fighting for your life. Light lives to the slaughter.
There's that roots heaviness. Hell yeah. Yeah, so that was Under Rapture. What about his kid playing drums? What a fucking badass. The first record he did, people were like, I'm not sure. This should shut everybody up. He just shreds on this record. So props. Anyways, I know I've gone on. I don't even know. Let's look again. I'm always surprised at how long I've been recording for. Does it even say? No, I don't. Oh shit, dude. 45 minutes almost. So again, I'm sorry. If you guys are still watching this right now, again, hit me up. I actually sent a couple people out some death metal shit, black metal, one dude, and I sent someone else, something else, because I said no one should have to listen to me for this long. I ramble on and on. My wife will tell you that. So that's why this is a good thing to do, these podcast things for me, because I can just ramble and ramble. I also noticed, if you see this arm, I always am like itching my leg. I noticed that last time. I'm like, dude, why am I doing that? Like, it's so annoying. But, you know, fuck, everyone's got their thing. So in any case, I just want to give shout out to Max, obviously, and Gloria. She's, you know, Gloria, I love her. She's a fucking badass lady. She's done a lot for women in metal. You know, it's like, yeah, she could be probably gnarly, you know, but you have to be. It's like, stick up for yourself and what you believe in, you know. I can't say I agree with all of her political views, but that doesn't mean anything to me. Like, I'm glad she does and speaks up for what she believes in. It's all you can do, and respect people for their beliefs. So I won't get into politics because that's the last thing I want to do. There's no reason we should be, polarized by someone's political views. Not to say I disagree with everything she says, but there's some things I don't, but it's like, who agrees with everyone? So just everybody chill the fuck out with this political shit going on right now. We're all in this together. Oh God, did I just say that? When people say we're all in this together, I want to fucking throw up. So I'm not editing this because it's live. So if I could take that back, take it back. My point is we're all metal fans. If you're watching this, you're a metal fan. I don't care if you like Biden or Trump or you're like me and you don't give a shit about either of them and you're just like fucking hate politics. We're all, when it comes to metal, everybody's the same. So, that's how it is. So anyways, again, I'm going to end this right now. Thank you guys for watching again. Again, of course, this was impromptu, which I've said probably 20,000 times already. So I could literally talk about Max, Sepultura, Soulfly, all of his side projects, anything for hours and hours and hours, which I'm sure once we get this channel up and running, new backdrop, we actually bring in other people to the show. We'll start debating things and we'll get back into Max, Soulfly, Sepultura, the whole Derek era versus Max era thing. But for now, that's all I got. It's fucking late. My wife's outside of the door right there, just telling me to stop. So God bless everybody. Have a good night, day, whatever time it is where you're at. And feel free. I know I hate it when people say this, but if you can, subscribe to the channel, give it a like or comment, whatever. That'd be awesome. I'm not trying to make money, like I said, but it'd be cool to have a bunch of people that were into this and we can start doing some Zoom things and have people call in and give their opinion on things and whatnot. So, yeah. Just like this shit if you like it. If not, don't. Thank you guys again. All right. Like always, peace out. Take care.